It's even sort of related to Skinner, that this guy was significant and important and had made an important contribution to psychology, but we were sort of rejecting him and we were going to find our own way. So that's why the words which are always left off these days, of in the process of discovery here, which is the rest of the title, is pretty important, because the idea of Walden was that it would keep rediscovering and discovering new things about learning.
There were weekly meetings with the staff, and students were allowed to come. And I remember attending some of those. Everybody was still so engaged and enthusiastic about what they wanted to teach and how they wanted to reach kids. So it was still very much in the formation era, and there was a lot of energy. We had classes that were unusual ways to teach traditional lessons. So there was a kite flying class to teach physics, and there was a class how to make it at the bank, so we could learn some practical things too. A lot of fun stuff.
During those first several years, we'd decide at some point, if people started getting bored with their classes and that kind of thing, we'd say, well, it's time to start a new set of classes. Throw the whole thing away that we were currently doing. We'd write possible class ideas on small bits of paper and put them on a floor, and the students and staff would sort them out and see if we could build a curriculum out of it. And first year we did that 8 different times during the year. This is if they want a school that can really change and really meet the new challenges, that you have to have a really clearly defined set of beliefs and philosophy about what the school ought to be about. And it's got to be more than some vague stuff like all kids can learn or something like that. It's got to have a lot of specific pieces to it. Students and teachers run the school together. That administration is basically done by leadership, kind of selected by the teachers and the students. And you do need administration, especially if you're going to be part of a large political district, because you do need people to stay in touch with what central office is thinking about and what the school board's thinking about and all of those kinds of things. And so it's okay to have somebody called, or some bodies called principal, but they always have to be working with staff and students to determine direction. Some of the other things we talked about, though: environmental sensitivity, social justice issues, concern with the arts, concern with ethics, community-based learning, that you should be out in the community, and that should be an important part of learning. Also that the community, and this maybe is something that's changed, I don't know, that the community should be in the school a lot. We had a lot of volunteer teachers coming in and teaching courses in the school in the early years. I think that those things make up the Walden way, but underneath it all, this is one of the things that every human being in the building and in the community needs to be treated with dignity. But the kids, especially in the building, are unique individuals, and they need to be supported.
Is important to the school. The school is obviously important to the community. If we had more schools that were like this, I think the community would be different.
That's one place that Walden has improved. It has really settled into this neighborhood and connected with the neighbors, and made a strong point about doing something for our community.
Years, this school gave back. When I was in student government, anywhere between $20,000 to $25,000 worth of food, money outside. We never really used it on ourselves. We knew the importance of giving than receiving, and that's always been something that's important to Walden.
Because our kids are known for good behavior and for being able to speak their minds and for being empowered, groups actually seek us out and ask our kids to be on boards, to function with things and so on. And as student government supervisor, I cannot tell you the number of phone calls I get, the number of letters I get asking for our help, because we have such a long tradition of helping in our community. And sometimes it's in a crazy way. Last year when Haiti hit, a girl came to the student government one day and said, I think we should do something to help Haiti. And within a few days, we threw together a bachelor auction that was an absolute riot. Kids had a ball. Kids were so creative and so fun in what they presented to the student body. And in less than an hour, we raised $1,600 in this tiny school, right after we earned over $6,000 to help the food bank and 10,300 pounds of food. We see a need, and we hear about a need, we'll do our darndest. We've helped the Lymphoma Society, and all the money went to Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. Gave quite a nice chunk there. We've done Make-A-Wish Foundation. We have done glasses drives. We have done many coat drives. We also have done book drives for Julia Burney's kids, and all the books we have raised. Last year, over 1,000 books in less than a week, and all of those books were given to kids who don't have access to books of their own, and so on. So yeah, we do an awful lot for a teeny tiny little school.
From doing the community garden last year and watching these kids, and you know, the perception of teenage kids is that they're lazy and that they don't want to work, but that's the farthest from the truth. What I saw last year, you know, sod being dug up, chips being moved around. They had a blast doing it, and they did a great job doing it. I've taken them, a group out to the Caledonia Conservancy to cut tree branches and spread wood chips, and the message I get back from the volunteers from the Conservancy at the end is not, oh, your kids were loud and didn't work. They were like, we had a blast with them. We want them back. Mm-hmm. So
I really love the food drive because it's all of Walden working together. And you try that at any other school, and you're lucky to get like 10 kids to show up. But we're able to organize 500 and something kids and line them up and carry, what was it, 10,000 pounds this year? We were able to carry 10,000 pounds to the gym. And it's just a real testament to what a school can have kids do.
Walden is pretty special in that they've actually shown an increase in especially the monetary portion of it, which it's huge for us. When you compare the ratio between the number of people involved in those drives and the pounds of food, I think Walden clearly comes out on top with 500 students and the amount of food that you guys raise.
Sort of the genes of starting Walden, the genetic makeup, there was a strong environmental consciousness. There wasn't anywhere near either the scientific sophistication or the political sophistication you folks have. But I think it would be safe to say that environmental concerns were always a key part of Walden. I should say Walden has the ability to think outside the box and think of new ways of doing things. And Walden also has more ability, because it's smaller, it has the ability to pull everybody together for collective action. Rather, it'd be much harder to do it at a 2,000 student high school than a school with 400 or 500 kids. So, and Walden's just sense of experimental learning and the idea that we can learn in ways that are different than what just some standard curriculum and set of textbooks that people give us. And so, and then the social issue thing. I mean, there is not really there's two major issues the world is facing, and one is how to deal with diversity, and the other is environmental degradation. And so it's, those are the kinds of issues that Walden has always dealt with, so it's appropriate.
If we can help connect kids coming up in a school to those ideas and what their surroundings are about, what the local and global communities are experiencing, and try to solve some difficult questions for the present and for the future. That's my idea of what the Green School is promoting.